he was at the end of it, and he knew that he was at the end of it. And when I came into his room, into his living room to sit down and talk with him, it's my job to get to know patients and figure out how I can help, and have some pretty important conversations with them, as you can imagine. But it didn't take me long to figure out that I was under a test. And this ornery old mountain man looking kind of guy wasn't going to give me any sort of pass. Nope. And so, but I like guys like that. So at the end of our conversation, I figured out that I passed because he told me I could come back anytime. But so within that time, he teased me. He made really strong statements about the Bible, which I figured I think he's trying to push my button. And I have no idea if this guy has any idea what he's talking about or not. But he sure is confident that he knows how to tweak me. So we just had fun together. And it didn't take long, personally, for me to go from having Chuck as a patient to having Chuck as a friend. And I'll miss him as a friend. As all of you have said, what's amazing is that, I deal with people who are dying all the time. But I would show up, and here's a guy that can't breathe, and is used to being in control of life, and is losing that control very quickly. And I could ask him, I could have about 2 or 3 minutes about how he was doing, and after that, he wanted to know how I was doing. And he wanted to talk about my family. And he'd tell me things like you said about this family, is take advantage of it. It's the best time. Don't lose it. Great advice from a man who is at his end. And so he's a friend. I'm sorry, I didn't see this coming. Usually I can suck it up and I can get through this stuff, but he's a special man. All of you, as you remember him, you'll remember the sense of humor. One of the stories that wasn't shared, but the family shared with me, are the many times that he'd be with his brother Bob, right? And pull out his Bowie knife and just out of nowhere throw that knife into his leg, into Bob's leg. His fake leg. Or the time he accidentally shot Stephanie with a BB gun because he thought it wasn't loaded, but he wanted her to get scared, but the BB was actually there. So it actually did hurt. You guys know the Shetland story? I thought you were sure you were going to share the Shetland pony story. Oh! His children, they had a group of Shetland ponies, and they were troublesome animals, and they were chasing this Chucky's pony that was taking off again, and Chuck had his pistol, and got out of the truck and told Chucky, "I'm going to shoot that," and Chucky said, "No, you're not really going to shoot my pony," and he said, "Yes, I am." Well, he aimed leading and shot, and the pony took it in the heart.
Where was this at?
And the thing just dropped. And of course,
He didn't
turned
know
around.
I
I didn't mean to. Really, I didn't mean to. Or so sometimes these jokes do go bad. Or whether it's the adventures that you guys experience with them. Whether it's the long trips and the close calls with jackknifing on black ice, and seeing maybe one of the few times you ever saw Chuck actually scared. Have those moments, or the times you hear about him hunting for geese and almost dying in quicksand and managing to get out, or the adventures of going down a river in a blow-up raft when everyone is telling him to stop, and he just takes the family right on over the waterfall. No. And the other theme that I've heard today and the other day when I had with the family Chuck was the protector. He put family first, but he protected his family. So whether it was with a 30-06 or a 30-30, chasing away the many boys and passing on the good advice if they're worth anything, they'd come back. Or whether it was, I don't know how many of you guys heard this story. This is a good story. And I'll probably get the details wrong, but you guys can fill in the gaps later. So the family, so Chuck was working with a friend at a apartment complex or somewhere where where the kids were swimming in the pool while they were working on the project, and the manager, the property manager, told the girls that they couldn't come swimming because they weren't actually residents there, and even if they were guests. And so Chuck got wind of this, and so he put down his tools and he walked over and knocked on the property manager's door, and the property manager came to the door and he said, "What's the deal?" He said, "They're here with the guests." He said, "I don't care, they can't swim." And so Chuck looked at him dead in the eye and said, "Have you ever seen The Incredible Hulk?" And I'm sure the man was pretty tentative at this point. And seeing the pictures of Chuck in his younger years, I can imagine. And the guy said yes. And with a flex, he split his shirt. Oh. The guy took his pants. Actually, there's many stories of Chuck as protector. And I think a lot of you experience the helpful side of it, and when you just jump in and just help. Or you experience it as family when he crushed your hand or tried to chase somebody away, or did whatever he had to do to protect the family. And that is the guy that you all know and you all fell in love with. And this impacted you dearly. That you will get to pass on those core values of who he was on to the next generation of this family and maybe your family, if you're his friends. And those are the things you have to grab hold of. And so it is good to remember. But the other thing I said is that it's good to reevaluate. It is one of the most common things we do when we're faced with death is we look at our own lives. And we say, where do I want to be at the end? And we start asking really big questions. And often those big